my wife and two young daughters, Raz and David, which are only 5 and 3 years old, from this January, were taken hostage on October 7th, and on November 24th, they got back on the first deal at the first time. And the fact that I'm sitting here with parents and brothers of people that are still there, very difficult to me. On October 7th, my wife and two daughters were visiting their grandmothers in Kibbutz Doron. We are living in the Doron area, which is in the center of Israel, and I wasn't with them. My wife went out without me, and they spent the night. And at the morning, when the alarms started, and my wife and I talked on the phone and on WhatsApp, and around 10 we got disconnected. I couldn't reach her anymore, and things started to get harder and harder. As I watched the news, I saw the horrific massacre increasing and the number of casualties increasing. And I knew that this is not the usual, as much as you can say, usual situation. And I couldn't reach her. Like I said, I talked with hundreds of security people, with hundreds of reporters, foreign and locals, all during that several hours. And I even managed to locate her mobile phone and using her Gmail account, which was open on my laptop, and it appeared in Khan Younis. So I didn't know at that time if the phone is there without my family and whether it's real kidnapping. But as time went by and as I saw that I can't manage to get someone there to rescue them, and there is no one who can get there, not the army or not the police, not anyone. I went on to the media and spoke on the news and gave my phone number on the news and gave their photos and gave their details. After, I think it was 5 p.m., Hamas released the video and using TikTok. That video got to me, and on that video I witnessed my wife, my older daughter Raz, my young daughter Aviv getting kidnapped on a tractor with a cart. And Hamas...
What was your reaction at that moment? I can't even imagine, but can you articulate that?
Well, seeing your family getting taken by Hamas terrorists, screaming "Allah Akbar" all around, after all those hours, which are hoping they will somehow be rescued. I told you that earlier. It can't be described in words, unfortunately. This option does not exist. I can only say that literally all the energy ran out of my body that moment, and it's a moment that transcends space and time and above all logic. And I had to really recover, because I understand that I'm the only one that can fight for them, because they were kidnapped along with their grandmother, my mother-in-law, and my father-in-law, Gadi Moses, who is still there. And he's not blood related, because he's my mother-in-law's spouse for 20 years, but my daughters called him grandma. So for us, it's another family member that is still there.
And your mother-in-law was then you found out?
Yes, after about 10 days later, we got announced that my mother-in-law was killed during the abduction in a shooting incident. My wife was injured in that incident, and she had splashes of shooting, stain of shooting in her back. She lost a lot of blood. During the captivity, she was stitched with no substance in front of my daughter's eyes. She managed to keep them together, even though there was immediate danger that they will be separated. At some point, one of the Hamas terrorists took my older daughter Raz on his hands and started walking, while my wife and the other hostages on that cart. And for a few moments, she thought that she lost her for good. And afterwards, in very much lucky situation, one of the hostages saw that terrorist walking with Raz, my older daughter, on his hand, and they were shouting at him, "Give us the girl, give us the girl." And while they are driving, she almost fell from my wife's hands, but some kind of threw her. And from that moment on, they were together. And then for 49 days, my hero wife, injured, scared to death, transferred one time in the middle of the night, fearing they will be lynched, kept them together and managed to give them the feeling that the people who are holding them is not the evil person that kidnapped them.